everybody. This is LVO Toro, the fancy action now. Let's hit it, baby. Yeah.
Let me show them some fancy action now.
So, here's the thing. This is something that is in my wheelhouse. So, I'm like, I really should do this. This is one of the things that I really should be doing commentary on, which is, this is a piece of marketing. And what's interesting is this is a piece of marketing in deep damage control. So these are opportunities. Like if you're in business or marketing, it is, because these guys play at a pretty high level. It's interesting to see how they handle this disaster that is by their own hand. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I don't want to get too deep in the paint on whether or not, and I think it was Asmon Gold who said, these are the type of things that make you consider conspiracies because it is so incompetent as to be intentional. Like this level of incompetence, it's hard to believe that it's on purpose. Like there has to be some kind of ulterior motive. And they may very well be. These kind of things do go on, but again, I don't want to get too deep into the paint. Now, I want to see if my dog wants to go outside. We're in the middle of a hurricane, by the way. I'm in Florida. The hurricane is as the size of half of the continental United States. It is humongous. It is now at a Cat 4, and we're still broadcasting, and we're still on the internet. It just, you know, sometimes you got to step back away from all of the complaining and realize, like my people came over in boats with like one suitcase and nothing, you know, and worked in factories and built their own homes, and it's just like, you know, it's crazy the comparison in terms of our quality of life. Sometimes you have to stop and experience a little gratitude. You know what I mean? I do want to do a sound check as well, so we're going to do a little house cleaning before we dive into this. Let's see. Check, check. Check, check. We're good, baby. We are good. We'll just leave that sit right there. Let me see if Doggo wants to go out. Go outside? Come on. Go outside. Go outside, be an adventure dog. She actually has loved it. She's thought that this is you're letting your dog out in a hurricane. She keeps wanting to go out. She loves it. She's an adventure dog. I'm going to move me over this way a little so that we have a little bit, you can see the entire, the text of the letter. Okay, there you go. And that's going to scrunch me a little bit, but that's fine. I could lose a little weight. All right. All right. So here's the thing. So you know, let's understand where we are now. The beverage today is Rest in Peach by Liquid Death. It is a peach tea, and it's very good. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so a lot of things have occurred recently. So they decided they were going to pull this game. Good, right? And the CEO, and we're going to get to that as well, the CEO also came out and made some comments. And a few of the things that I'm concerned about is, one, it seems like somebody kind of helicoptered in to do damage control. Like, people were left to handle things until the results of Star Wars Outlaws came out. And then you had the rebellion of the shareholders prior to the release of that game. Like, people knew that thing wasn't going to hit right. And, you know, it was somebody, the main controlling family that established this company, like, helicoptered in and said, okay, suspend everything. What about the show? F the show. It's going to look bad. it's too late for that. You know what I mean? And that is the sign of a very decisive person who understands how bad things are. Not going to the show, pulling out last minute of the show, believe it or not, was the right call. I know there's people out there that'll be like, well, shouldn't they have just gone ahead? No. It was an embarrassment. It was a double embarrassment because of that it's not Funko Pop, but it's like a Funko Pop toy where it's like, you could tell somebody just pulled up a Tory Gate on Google and said, oh, that's cool. It's like a half Tory Gate. I'll use that. And not understanding the context of what that is. Why you don't want to use the Hiroshima Nagasaki half Tory Gate, which is a symbol of an entire city being wiped out in minutes. Let's put that on our fun toy. Sometimes edgy works in that respect, but again, Japanese people did not appreciate that. The Japanese people didn't appreciate the depiction in their game, in this game. They don't like it. And there was a lot of washing to try and a lot of deceptive marketing to position it that the Japanese people did like the depiction when they absolutely did not. And again, that is deceptive advertising. You can use a lot of creative license in marketing, but you have to have some level, especially when you're dealing with multi-billion-dollar international organizations, you have to operate with a certain level of ethics. Otherwise, you tarnish the brand and you compromise the stock price. And we've seen a lot of that. So, there you go. So, I kind of want to jump in to this letter and let's just look at it from a marketing perspective. Somebody that's had to draft things like this, I've had to do damage control multiple times in my career in multiple companies, multi-billion-dollar multinationals, and there are times when you will get, and a lot of times it's funny, as a marketer, especially when you're at an executive level, director above, you'll get people that are senior VPs, executive VPs, board members that will ping you out of nowhere and be like, hey, and you'll see something and you'll be like, wow, that's not a direction I would go. I hope we don't go down that direction. And depending upon your level, you will get a call, an email, or a text, and it'll be, hey, I just wanted to get your take on that. That's a minefield, and it can be a career ender if you're not careful. But most of the time, I would say about 90% of the time, and unfortunately it did get me in hot water with certain people, certain executives that kind of wanted to do the thing that probably shouldn't be done, where I would just come out and say, hey, this is a really bad idea. This is not customer focused. This is going to, in the medium term, in the short term, you're going to make a little bit of extra money. In the medium term, you're going to anger a lot of customers and you're going to burn through a lot of goodwill. See, as a marketer, what you're really trying to do as a good marketer is build goodwill. When you have goodwill with a customer base, your customer, your like core customer, will sell for you. They will always buy your stuff. They will always give you good feedback. And in the age of the internet, good feedback is money. It's literally translates directly into money. So if you are selling off a company's goodwill and dropping their stock price to the floor, this is where you get into the conspiracy of, are we sabotaging the brand, the stock price, and the company? Is a power block within the company doing that to make it attractive to a buyout? And then, again, a lot of people don't understand this, is if you're public and you're bought out, somebody comes in and buys a majority shares and gets control of the board, and it's basically your company now. If it's a powerful company and a very successful company like a Microsoft or a Sony or somebody like that comes in and snatches that up, all the stock that you had that was $2 now gets eventually, not right away, but eventually it becomes, again, they'll buy more and more shares, at that incredibly cheap price, but then they eventually become the buying company shares, and anybody who held on to that junk stock, quote unquote, all of a sudden is now holding a whole lot of very successful stock. So there is a potential motivation. There is a potential for the whole undermining of Ubisoft to be by design. Typically, for a company with this level of IP, this level of acumen in the industry, they've been a major player for 20, 30 years, what have you. It's usually by design. Not always, okay, because that's illegal. Internally sabotaging your company to be attractive to a buyer is illegal. But is it illegal to publish woke games that aren't going to sell? No. Oh, we just thought that was like the new thing, and we did all these things, and it didn't work out, and we lost a bunch of money. Normal business, business as usual. Sorry, just didn't work out for us, and now our stock is $2. They might be waiting for it to go even lower. So somebody out there, like an Embracer, or probably not them right now, but like a Microsoft, a Sony, to make them extremely attractive. Because when the price is low, the company can look at the IP and go, look, if we take over just owning the IP, we're going to pay back ourselves for the investment just to get the brand name. We can develop it internally, or we can use their people or teams to develop it for us. We can guide it to more success, and then we will pay ourselves back, and they can go in with a much lower amount of money. That's why I say it looks attractive to buy Ubisoft and their IP. But it looks like the founder and CEO wants to come back in, stop everything, stop the presses, and salvage the last bullet in their gun for 2024 and push it out to 2025. And we're going to get into why that is. So let's go ahead and I'll finally get to reading this thing. So, dear players, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a dream project for us. I have to stop right there. I don't really like that line. It's disingenuous. The dream project wasn't ready for launch, was terribly positioned, has a real strange approach with the protags. It is controversial in the country of Japan. The Japanese people wholeheartedly don't appreciate it. Two times that you've insulted them directly with the Hiroshima toy and the half Torii Gate toy, and the way you've handled the lore, it just sticking in Chinese architecture and Chinese language in there, and it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. So you are dreaming if you think that this thing was positioned well. It was not. So you can say this is a dream project, but you've trashed your own launch. So right out of the gate, that is disingenuous. It's an appeal to emotion, but you've pissed everybody off. It's too late for appeal to emotion. So I think it would have been better to just say, like, this is a very important release for us. That is factual. And you're not trying to appeal to my feels, which at this point is like a joke. I had to stop there. Finally bringing the series to feudal Japan with many features developed with our community in mind. Again, you're saying finally. We understand that our customers wanted this, and we ignored our customers for a decade or more ignoring this time period, this location that you wanted. And then when we did do it, we did it to virtue signal. And it is absolutely comedy. I mean, they did not take this serious. They're like, oh, we're serious. And in a way, yeah, you are, as an incompetent person is serious. A lot of incompetent people take themselves very seriously and can't accept criticism. That's part of the problem. And that's revealing this toxic positivity. That's exactly what this is revealing. And that's why I don't like that first sentence. That first sentence to me is toxic positivity. This is a very bad scene. This is a very bad situation. And you're coming out and going, this is our dream come true. Shut up. Shut up. I would have edited the hell out of this. As somebody, and again, hopefully their marketing director, marketing VP, again, as if I'm in that position, I want to see all of this, and it's getting my sign off on everything. At this point, it's that bad. And that's what I would tell them. You can get over your ego. I don't know who the hell you are, game director, whatever you are. It comes before me, and I have right to edit. And don't be married to every line. And I've said that in meetings. I go, when you submit copy to me, don't be married to every line. Changes are inevitable. They're going to happen. I'm not going to debate every other word with you. If you're married to it, that's fine. Take it home, print it out, frame it. I'm changing it for release if there's something wrong with it. If it's perfect, which is almost never happening, sometimes I change 90% or 10%. Sometimes I change 90%. Sometimes I chuck the whole thing out, rewrite it, and launch it. And I don't need, at my level, I don't need your position. I don't need your permission to do that. And I go and I get their bosses say so, and I get the big bosses say so. And I said, I've had a look at this. Don't send this out. Do you have a rewrite? Yeah, here it is. Okay, you're right. This is better. Put that out. Okay, well, I'm going to get blowback from so-and-so. I'll handle it. Do it. That's how it's done. You get people that write copy like that are married to every freaking word in the text. Like, it cannot be touched. Like, this is the most perfect syntax to ever communicate these thoughts. And it's like, bro, get over yourself. A lot of fevered egos out there at the executive level and mostly in the middle managers. But anyway, let's see. Fully bringing the series to feudal Japan with many features developed with our community in mind, such as parkour or the renewed stealth brought by new technology. The renewed stealth, that just sounds awful. Again, this is again an indicator. If there was a language barrier, you should have got somebody good that understands how to communicate this stuff better. Renewed stealth brought by new technology. That is just obtuse. It is an awkward turn of phrase. So parkour, again, and a lot of times people get all up in their prose and they get a little verbose. I'm very big on, never use two words when one will do, especially in marketing communications. People don't like to read at all, let alone this kind of crap. But with our community in mind, such as parkour or the renewed stealth, I don't know what renewed stealth means. What does that mean? Or stealth elements. Why can't you just say stealth elements or focus on stealth? Renewed stealth. I have no idea what that means. That's very poor English. It's just bad. Brought by the latest technology. So you could have, because you've used new, renewed, and new again, you could have the latest technology, which sounds better. All set in a beautiful, and that's up for debate too if you've watched some of the gameplay, which looks like really good Xbox 360. All set in a beautiful and immersive world. It is beautiful. It looks good. I've said that before. The immersion, I'd have to experience it. The atmosphere of it looks like feudal Japan. It looks pretty good. whether or not it's immersive, walking around as like a 6'8" black dude with a club, gay black man with a club. I don't know how immersive. That kind of pulls me out of the immersion a little bit. This is an ambitious addition to the franchise, a rich experience that can be lived through the eyes of two unique protagonists. Yeah, they're so unique as to be impossible and like almost irrelevant to the setting. It is absurd. Yusuke was literally Nobunaga's like caddy. He carried around tools and such. He carried around the heavy luggage, okay? He was a gift of Jesuit missionaries, okay? I mean, he wasn't like, 6'11", walking around with a club, just killing and beheading Japanese people. Oh my God, bro. It's very off-putting. The whole thing, and this is what they don't want to, the whole premise is off-putting. That's why this game is delayed, and we're still going. But we realize we need more time to polish and refine the experience. That is complete and total bullshit. They are going to take a narrative U-turn on this game. Take it to the bank. They are going to revisit the protags. They may introduce a new male Japanese samurai or Japanese ninja, even better, protag. Why do you think, and all right, we'll get to it, but we realize we need more time to polish and refine the experience, pushing further some of our key features. Now, there's always fine-tuning that can be done, okay? I'm not saying that's complete fiction. The idea that that's the reason they pulled the game is complete fiction. We had to back out last minute of a global phenomenon game show of our game based in Japan, out of Japan. We had to run out of Japan with our game that's set in Japan last minute during fourth quarter, the biggest sales period of the year. If you're going to make money, it's going to be in fourth quarter. People just spend money just to spend money. Even if you're on the shelf and it's like Assassin's Creed and your dad played it back in the PS2 days and he's like, oh, Assassin's Creed, I like that game. I'll get it for my kid. I mean, people are just spending money. Grandma's buying it. What do you like, honey, Assassin's Creed? I got you the latest Assassin's Creed. I mean, it's like, come on, man. So the game will release on a broad range of platforms, including Steam. They're eating crow on that one. They're like, oh, we don't need Steam. We're Ubisoft. Bro, you know what? You know what the problem is with these companies? And this is why I like Phil Spencer. And a lot of you may or may not like Phil Spencer or Phil Spencer Lies and all that stuff. He's still approachable and he doesn't come from hubris. He's pure business. Pure business is a winner, is successful. He is presiding over one of the greatest turnaround stories in video game history with the Xbox Series X and Game Pass and everything that's going on there. Pretty soon with the latest, the new Xbox and Xbox handheld, this man is freaking crushing. But he still projects. He's one of the most powerful people in business, in gaming. He works for a $1 trillion company. He is a monster, but he's still approachable, and he likes gaming, he likes gamers, and he doesn't come from a position of hubris. Hubris is what destroys the successful. Unsuccessful people are destroyed from a lack of internal consideration or denial or disassociation from reality. That's what unsuccessful people struggle with constantly. Successful people struggle with hubris. Like you're like a higher order of humanity, or no, we can never lose money. And that's when you hear if you don't like it, don't buy it. When you hear that is a death bell. Death knell, death bell. when somebody says, if you don't like our product, don't buy it, again, every marketing professor, and I've had some good ones, has always made it a point, never tell your clients not to buy your product. Your customers, your clients, never tell anybody not to buy your product because they won't. It's a sign of hubris, and we've already heard that from this CEO. We heard that from Battlefield 5. It was incredibly underperforming from them. You know, remember that shit? If you don't like it, don't buy it. You don't like it, don't play it. This isn't for you. This isn't for you is another one. This isn't for you is the death of marketing. You have abandoned marketing, which is the only thing it is designed to do, is to entice people to your brand and your product, and to get them interested in that to the point where they're selling for you. They're calling up their brother going, bro, I'm showing up midnight to get this release. Or, you know, come on, we're going to get a tent. We're going to put a CRT TV and we're going to plug it in N64 and we're going to do Mario Kart until the game releases, bro. We're going to be the first in line. You know, I mean, it's like if you have a good brand that people love, Nintendo, people are ravenous for your stuff. You barely have to do, you have to do less marketing because your customers are your marketing. But when you go to your customer base, I'm approaching rant levels now. If you go to your customer base and you go, if you don't like it, don't buy it, chud. If you don't like it, don't buy it. This isn't for you. This is for us. There's not enough of you to support this business. You will run out of customers. I don't care how big you are. You know who's going out of business right now? Pizza Hut. You know who's trying to go out of business now? Best Buy. You know who went out of business? Blockbuster. Blockbuster was on every freaking corner. Okay? You know who's closing stores? McDonald's. You know who's closing Walmart? Walmart's. You know who's closing locations? Target. It doesn't matter how big you get. There is no endless supply of customers. It is a limited supply, and you must earn the customer's trust and business. And if you come out and say anything like, if you don't like it, don't buy it, I would literally, as a marketing manager, director, VP, any level, if I was an executive in your marketing team and you come out and said some shit like that, I would email you directly. I don't care about chain of command at that point. We all know that's important. We all know chain of command is important. You never go over your boss. You never go up. I would do it right then and there. And I would say, I am a member of your marketing team. This is the worst thing you could possibly say. Consider this my resignation and my 2 weeks notice. And I wanted you to hear it because you just undermined the work of this entire team and myself. No thanks. No thanks. I would literally serve my resignation like that. Don't you dare say that to customers that I'm serving. I don't care who you are. I mean, I don't care if you're going to Epstein Island, baby. You're not going to undermine me. You're not going to go to my customers and say, because they're my customers as well, you're not going to go to my customers and be like, oh, well, just don't buy it then. What? And then tell me I'm not hitting goals. You know, they'll hold you accountable for goals. But they'll come out and they'll post some shit like that, like, this isn't for you, or if you don't like it, don't buy it. If you're a marketer and that happens, make it known and quit. Put your notice in right there, because that company, whether it's tomorrow or 2 years from now, if they maintain that level of attitude from the top down, that's the key. That's the key. You're so important that you don't care about the customer anymore. That's how important you are. Then you need to get out of your position, CEO. You need to get out of your president. You need to get out of that position because your leadership is trash. Hell, I would copy the board. I'd copy the board members. I'd get all their emails, put it all together, put my resignation in. And then you know what? You know what happens sometimes when you're that bold? When you're that bold, that CEO is like, good, no, I want to fire him before he resigns. Somebody's going to call him up and go, don't fire that guy. he was right. Somebody at his level will be like, he's right. I've run into that situation. Where I've spoken to the president and CEO of the holding company, not the company itself, the holding company that had all of these companies, multi-billion dollars, based in New York. We were told, like, you're not allowed to ask questions of him. Well, he's coming to ask us questions. He literally sent everybody an email saying he wants our questions. Yeah, well, nobody's asking questions. I go, do you understand, like, what kind of a counterintuitive message that you're giving to everybody by walking around and telling everybody to be too afraid to ask this grown man a question? Yeah, don't ask any questions. That's the first and last time I saw that senior VP. And guess who asked a question? And guess who didn't have a job in less than a year? I asked a question. It was a good question. It was a correct question. It was a multi-part. But I was the only one with the courage to stand up and ask a effing question. I'm a grown man. That's a grown man. I don't care who or what he is. You know, get over this fevered ego crap. These people are important, but Jesus Christ, they're not some other category of human. They'd like to think so a lot of times, but they're not. A lot of times they're have behaviors and proclivities that are less than human. But let's keep going. As such, we've made the decision to postpone the release, blah, 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 until February 14, 2025. That's a total retreat, total fail, an embarrassment. You showed your ass. You missed the golden opportunity of fourth quarter and a Japanese the Tokyo Game Show. Two golden opportunities, but the situation is so bad that somebody at the top recognized that these two golden opportunities are actually going to work against us. That's how it doesn't get much worse than this. It really doesn't. The game will release on a broad range of platforms, including Steam, at launch. Additionally, pre-orders will be refunded. Again, we have to give money back. That is the opposite of marketing. And all future pre-orders will be granted the first expansion for free. So they're doing mea culpas. Like, please forgive us. We're going to give you something for free. We suck. We've been told we suck. We've now had the worst possible embarrassment. They've had two terrible embarrassments. And ironically, they had two major embarrassments with Japan. So karma has come, time is a flat circle. Karma has come back 180 degrees and smacked them in the ass. We understand this decision will come as disappointing news. Nobody cares. Everybody was waiting for the disaster. More people were waiting for the disaster than your game. Again, the opposite of marketing. Especially to those who've been waiting patiently for an Assassin's Creed game inspired by feudal Japan. Yeah, with a Japanese samurai, a Japanese ninja, a male Japanese ninja, a male Japanese samurai. But we sincerely believe this is in the best interest of the game and ultimately your experience as a player. Rest assured, we are looking forward to the moment you will embark on a memorable adventure with Naue and Yasuke. Until then, we thank you for your ongoing support. There is no ongoing support. It is in the best interest of the game. It is in the best interest of the player. That last sentence was pretty much all you needed to say. And those two characters, now I notice he's naming the two characters as if they're going to be retained in the game. That is not a guarantee. It's all about the pro tags in this game. It's all about that. That is the main bugaboo of this game. This is the main problem with this game, is the pro tags. They don't fit the setting. They are goofy, just like Star Wars Outlaws. The main problem with Star Wars Outlaws is you took a side character and made them the protagonist to be a virtue signal and to comply with like ESG or whatever it is. Whatever it is. You took a model and you made her look like a mannequin, like this weird, distorted face. Okay, her face, the Star Wars Outlaws, Kay Vess, was off-putting. So you have this major game, major franchise, major launch right before the holiday season, and you put an incredibly off-putting goofball in there with stupid gameplay. Stupid basic gameplay. You couldn't be a criminal. You couldn't really be an outlaw. It was a bunch of goofiness with a freaking Muppet. So you put this off-putting 90-pound strange-faced female in the game with a freaking Muppet, and you wonder why it wasn't taken seriously. It's a joke. That game is a joke. There's no interest in that game. That game launched. Everybody that was going to get it has gotten it. Everybody played it and dropped it. It's junk. It's junk. It's crap. Nobody cares about it. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants DLC for it. Nobody wants merchandise for it. It's crap. Your character was a goofy, off-putting, strange-faced side character that could have been like a side mission. The whole game is a side mission. That's the problem. You don't have a video game. You have part of a game. You have a side mission that was blowed up to be a full game. And everybody got ripped off who bought that game. That game is shit. It's shit. That product is shit. You mishandled the license. You mishandled the pro tag. You mishandled the gameplay. And then the gameplay, of course, was buggy as shit. You want my analysis? You just got it. I would have U-turned that game as well. I would have said, don't launch it. Put it out to next year. We need a major retooling. We need a new pro tag. You can leave her in as a side mission, but this is absolute trash. And they're selling it for, $100, $130. It's absolute garbage. It's trash. That Star Wars Outlaws is a complete failure. It's trash. It doesn't function on any level. There is no compelling archetype in the game. Stick with your archetypes and you never fail. That thing was the worst freaking... I don't even know what archetype she is. She's not an archetype. Well, we're just going to create new archetypes. There aren't any new archetypes. We all live in a culture, in a society that has evolved into archetypes. And that's it. They work. That is who we are. They tell stories about who we are. We basically tell the hero with many faces. If you've ever heard or read that book, I recommend you look it up. The hero with many faces. The same archetype replays out throughout all of human history. It's who we are the archetypes. There are male archetypes, there are female archetypes, there are neutral archetypes. These archetypes permeate our culture. The character in Star Wars Outlaws is not an archetype. That's why it fails. That is why you fail, Yoda. This game, again, does not have the appropriate archetypes, and it will fail. So when he says, you can look forward to memorable adventure with these two people, I don't think this Mark Alexis Coute is going to, may not be staying in their role. They may be moved or they may be let go. But those Naue and Yasuke, those characters are going to be retooled. There may be a protagonist added to this game, which is really what needs to happen. I've already said it. I've already given my quote-unquote free marketing advice from an MBA and a former VP of marketing. Free marketing advice to Ubisoft. You need a primary protagonist who is a male Japanese man guy who's either a samurai, a ninja, or one of each. I would go 4 characters, leave the 2 goofballs, put their missions as side missions, and have a male Japanese ninja and a male Japanese samurai, and those are, and they can interact with Naoe and Yasuke, and they become the primary pro tags. You do that, and you polish the game so there's no goofy shit. You literally fix this game. That's why they canceled the season pass. They canceled it because you're going to retool the game to such a level that you can't maintain what you promised in the season pass. You can't maintain the season pass. That's why it was canceled. Well, if the game's done and they just needs a little polish, why are they killing the season pass? Because that's not what they're not just gonna. Yeah, of course they're gonna like fix bugs, but they're going to retool this entire game. Like the gameplay itself. I mean, they're not going to trash the entire game, but the whole Naoe and Yasuke, they're going to reposition the whole thing. That's why they needed the 5 months. That's why they needed to cancel the season pass. Because they have to retool the entire underpinnings of this game. Though, again, we're going to go back to Star Wars Outlaws. That protagonist could not carry the game. That protagonist could not carry that game. No, it's not. No, it's not. That protagonist not. She was a side character that you turned into and blowed up into a main protag. It's the same with these two. Yasuke could be a reimagined, interesting side character. Naoe could be an interesting side character. But you need either one. I personally, if you had a buddy movie, like a buddy movie with a male samurai and a male ninja that are from different clans that come together like a buddy cop movie, but set in feudal Japan, just money falling from the sky. And like I said, you don't have to throw out the social engineering or the virtue signaling. You don't have to throw it out. I know there's a lot of people out there that'd be like, well, get rid of all that shit. Whatever, dude. I mean, if you want to put in a little virtue signal or you want to leave Yasuke and Naoe in the game, leave them in. Leave them in. But make them side characters that the one or preferably 2 main Japanese male characters interact with and have side missions. And these 2 could have their own side missions. But the greater overarching story is basically a buddy cop story between a samurai and a ninja. And they both have different perspectives. One maybe, the samurai are much more conservative. Maybe the ninja's a little bit more, less so or whatever. They can conflict on their ideologies. They can conflict on their fighting styles. They can have a little testing battles. It writes itself. It's total money printing. I'm salivating. It's that good of an idea. So Ubisoft, I just fixed your game for you. If you want to cut me a check and bring me in and pay for my travel and accommodation, I will come over and help you rewrite this game and reposition it, and with as little change as possible, just introducing new, more appropriate elements, fixing any, like if you've got Chinese shit in a Japanese game, get that shit out of there. No, it's not. All right? So, dude, there you go. So the CEO came out and he said, just to interpret some of what he said. He was signaling, there's an internal investigation going on, by the way. So, and that investigation may reveal that there are certain power blocks in the company that are trying to undermine the company from within to attract a buyer. And that may be going against other power blocks. So again, I made a video which was absolutely suppressed by YouTube, which was a divided house cannot stand. And that is very true of Ubisoft. Ubisoft is at its most dangerous moment right now. And some very emergency decisions are being made, which is good because it is an emergency. But will Ubisoft emerge back to its current position? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it would take them 5 years of excellent management to restore their the faith in this company and the goodwill, which they have literally pissed away. They have literally pissed away so much of their goodwill. You would need 5 years of banger after banger after banger after banger to recapture this. But if they retool this game properly, if they take my advice, that's right, my advice, and do what I've said in regards to this game, plus do the right thing with Splinter Cell, save the virtue signaling for another company, and do Splinter Cell right, you got 2 potential bangers. And again, you know what you should do with Star Wars Outlaws? You should re-release that game. You should pull it down, put Dash Rendar in there, put some real villain outlaw mechanics, inject it with some testosterone replacement therapy, and re-release it. That's what I would do. I would make that hardcore choice. And anybody who bought the game, free. And I might even buy it if you did that. So I'm going to wrap it up. This is like an hour-long rant. My throat is like burning as it is, but this was my analysis of the This was my analysis of the Ubisoft letter and the CEO's comments and what is likely behind the spin. What's behind the spin of this serious damage control. And it is such an interesting case study on a company of this size running damage control and there's a civil war, there's a takeover happening, there's investigations happening. It's just God bless me, it's just a rare opportunity. And it's something that should be talked about, studied, and analyzed. If anybody wants to ping me for a discussion on this kind of thing, just hit me up in the comments, and then we'll work on other forms of more formal communication. This is LVO Toro, the fancy action now.
Let me show them some fancy action now.